Hi, this is Deborah Anderson, the BlkWmnAnimator, coming back to you with another video. This video is going to be about how I got into animation. A lot of people ask me that question. So growing up, I always drew and was interested in art, mostly drawing and coloring. I never got into painting, but I had these Disney books, and then I had my VHS tapes of Disney movies, and I would draw the covers of the Disney book. I would recreate the covers of the Disney books, and then I would draw the covers of the VHS tapes, and people always thought I traced. And I pretty much got my artistic skill from my dad, which I didn't realize till later because I didn't know he drew till kind of later in my life. But I would always be drawing anytime in school. If I had like a project, I would try to incorporate art into it whenever I could. So I would create like a poster or a map or some type of artistic version of my project. And so throughout my childhood, I went through a lot of jobs. So I wanted to be an architect, and then I found out that architects really don't draw that often. I wanted to be an industrial engineer. There was like a phase I went through where I always drew shoes from the side. I wanted to be, what else did I want to be? Well, right before, and by the time I got to high school, I wanted to be an electrical engineer. And that was because I was always good at art, but I was always good at math too. So I remember in 8th grade when we had to have the protractors and learning how to take angles, I would draw angles for fun and find the degree. So I don't know if I would call myself a nerd, but I just was really smart and I liked math and art. So when I got into high school, my dad had found out that you can do dual enrollment at my school if you took some test early. I think it was maybe the MEP, or I don't know if it was the PSAT, but there was some test you could take early. And I took it in 10th grade, because you usually took it in 11th grade, but I took it in 10th grade. And so if you passed it, then you can kind of apply to colleges and do dual enrollment. So I would go to high school, and then at night I would take classes. I did that my junior and senior year. So by the time I graduated from high school, I had taken 7 classes. So I took Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, I took a Flash class, I took a Macromedia Director class, I think I took 2 After Effects classes, and then my last class that I took was 3D animation. So I mean, even though I had watched Disney all my life and I just never thought about animation as a career, so once I took that class and got introduced to 3D animation, I felt like it was a perfect mesh of my love for math and art, because it's like, it has to do with technology. You can be analytical about animation if you wanted to. So I feel like it was a perfect mesh. So like in my junior year, I had joined my senior year, I had joined my robotics team, actually to do the animation portion of the first robotics competition. But then I ended up I was like one of 3 students that worked the most on the robot. And so I still had that like kind of tinkering, building bug, but I still ended up choosing to major in 3D animation. So that's how I got into animation, just the love for art and math my whole life. And then doing dual enrollment, actually being smart, was my gateway to finding animation, because I was able to take that test, do dual enrollment, and then that last class I took was my dream career. And so I'm very lucky that my dad found that out, and I was able to take that class, and I was able to go to RIT and major in animation. So that's how I got into animation.